I believe that we live in a culture where to say that you are somebody who is religious or follows the faith of Christianity in particular, a lot of times people think that what that means is I've closed my eyes to reality and I'm just believing that what the Bible says is true. And that could not be further from the case. In fact, I think that C.S. Lewis said it perfectly when he said, I believe in Christianity as I believe in the sun, not because I see it, but because by it I see everything else. And so what he's saying there is Christians, true Christians who believe and know the Bible, they're not closing their eyes to reality around them and just blindly believing. They are uh, they have accepted the Christian worldview because by it they see everything else. They have rationally and logically come to the conclusion that Christ is who he says he was, and that Christ really died and resurrected and ascended, and that he is Lord and everything that comes with it. And by it, they can see the rest of the world, and it simply makes sense. So, in a series of videos, I want to explain what is my reasoning behind why I have accepted the Christian worldview as my worldview, as the true worldview. Um, and so, I've got one quick, easy argument here, and it's a simple one, but I think it's an effective one. So, when I hold this up, you see the word life. Now, I don't know I can't read minds, but I can guarantee there's not one person who is watching this video who saw this word and just assumed that these simple letters that happen to spell life simply appeared on their own. You assume that I wrote that, or at least that somebody wrote it. And so this is the first step in understanding. Basically, it's a case for theism as opposed to a case for agnosticism or atheism. And that is, theism says there is a God, or there is a creator. Agnosticism says we can't know there's a God. And atheism says definitively there is no God. It is the belief that there is no God. It's a definitive statement. And so the argument here is when you see something even as simple as this, a postcard that has the word life written on it, this is not a very complex thing. And yet you know immediately, because there is a writing, that there must have been a writer. When you look at a building, you know that there was a builder, and you know that it didn't just appear out of nowhere. When you look at a painting, you know that there was a painter. And when you look at creation, when you look at things like trees, stars, moon, suns, anybody who's had who's a father or a mother, and they've witnessed how the baby has developed in the womb, and all that goes into them growing up, they know 100% that this cannot be by chance. And whereas agnosticism says, well, we don't know if this happened by chance or not. No, creation itself is a testimony that we can know for sure that there's at least something else out there. That essentially, my case is this. When I say that there is a God, what I'm saying is first there was life, then there was matter. But agnosticism says, well, there's no way of telling if that's the case. And there's not really much reasoning behind that. And atheism says, no, definitively there was matter, and then there was life. And that just doesn't make sense. It's irrational. And so I believe that right from the ground floor, there is a strong case for theism and very shaky ground for agnosticism, and certainly no ground for atheism. So that's my first step in why I believe that Jesus Christ is God. And I haven't gotten to the specifics yet. I just want to build up a case that there is a God, and the reasoning behind that there is evidence. I'm not merely closing my eyes. In fact, I'm looking around at the evidence that we've been given and saying the best explanation for a creation as complex as this is an even more complex creator.